President Trump's first year in office has been jam-packed, turbulent, and very divisive. Since his inauguration, Trump has never captured the majority of Americans' approval of his job performance. And his approval rating sloped downwards as the months went by, according to weekly Gallup polls. His disapproval rating, on the other hand, has climbed. The percentage of the public who disapprove of Trump's job performance has only dipped below 50% once, in his first week on the job. And his first week also garnered him the highest approval rating of his entire presidency, 45%.
So help me God.
Hot-button issues like the travel ban, developments in the investigation into Russian interference in Trump's election, and a revocation of federal protections for transgender students provoked public outcry early in his term. Trump's approval rating stood just above 40% in late February, which coincided with high-profile addresses to the Conservative Political Action Conference.
Great to be back at CPAC.
And his first joint address to Congress. But it quickly dipped in March, as Trump and House Republicans pushed to repeal the Affordable Care Act, floundered and stalled. His decision to strike Syrian government forces in April, and his victory in getting Neil Gorsuch sworn in as the 9th justice on the Supreme Court, accompanied a slight upturn in his approval rating that month. Trump ushered in May with a celebration for House Republicans when they passed a health care bill. But approval ratings soured as he fired FBI Director James Comey, and the Justice Department quickly appointed Special Counsel Robert Mueller to take over the Russia investigation.
The entire thing has been a witch hunt.
His first trip abroad at the end of the month took place as his approval ratings stabilized, marking the last time in his first year that it hit above 40%. Public opinion of his job performance stayed relatively level through June and July. During those months, he withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accord and live-tweeted Comey's congressional testimony.
Those were lies.
A shooting at a congressional baseball practice captured the public's attention mid-June. And the GOP's struggle in the Senate to pass a healthcare bill consumed discussions on Capitol Hill throughout July, culminating in upheaval in the West Wing staff and the bill's ultimate rejection at the end of the month. August brought another dip in Trump's approval rating, as he provoked fear with inflammatory rhetoric about North Korea,
with fire and fury,
and anger with his response to an attack at a white supremacist rally in Charlottesville, Virginia.
you had a group on the other side that was also very violent.
Approval for his job performance hit 35%, its lowest point, near the end of the month. Hurricane Harvey hit and his rating inched upwards soon after, as he entered September with a repeal of former President Obama's Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. Then Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, and criticism of his administration's response to the disaster lingered for weeks, although overshadowed at times by Trump's fight with NFL players who kneeled during the national anthem, and the mass shooting at a Las Vegas concert at the beginning of October. Public approval for Trump's performance dipped again in mid-October, as his disputes with certain lawmakers and a soldier's widow took center stage. The first indictment in the special counsel's Russia investigation landed at the end of the month, before the nation grappled with a mass shooting in Texas, near the beginning of November. His approval rating stayed stable at 38% through most of the month, as the administration's push for a tax overhaul went into overdrive, and the nation's Me Too movement, of women sharing stories of sexual assault and harassment, hit the halls of Congress. It dipped again at the beginning of December, twice hitting Trump's previous low of 35%, just as a former member of Trump's administration was charged by the special counsel, and Senate Republicans passed a tax bill with low public support. Only about 30% of Americans approved of the Senate's tax plan. Women with stories of sexual misconduct by Trump came forward again in the middle of the month, calling for renewed investigation into the allegations. The next day, the Republican candidate for Alabama's U.S. Senate seat lost to a Democrat after allegations against him came to light. As December drew to a close, Congress passed a reconciled tax bill, and Trump signed it into law. The tax victory accompanied a small uptick in approval for Trump. Compared to other modern presidents, Trump is closing his first year in office with a historically low approval rating. The last 3 presidents all ended their first years with a 50% approval rating or higher. Trump is finishing up at 38%.